Greetings heroes, I'm the Chivalrous Mook, and this is the second episode of Pointless Top 10 in Guild Wars 2. Follow the clues and see if you can figure out the top pick in advance. Why are we scaling this ancient dwarven ruin? Because inside pointless things are treasures. 10! Number 10 is Shining Blade Officer Ralan. This guy stands guard near the Seraph Guard headquarters in Divinity's Reach and hands out bounty notices for taking down White Mantle leaders throughout Krita. He's not an Exemplar, so not upper crust in the organization, but just does his thing while carrying double sword, which, if the NPCs have to live by the same limitations as player characters, means he's either a warrior, mesmer, or revenant. So the obvious pick is warrior, but something about his placement makes me want to think he might also be a mesmer, like masking himself in the illusion of a normal guard. Who knows, he might stand out here for more than simply handing out bounties. Perhaps he has secret orders. It's unlikely we'll have a lot of Shining Blade story for a while, but I like wondering. So while Officer Ralan's post is very comfy compared to the top spot, this makes this list's number 10. 9. Number 9 is Canach, a Sylvari with a spotted past and a love for freedom. He is forcibly recruited into the Shining Blade to pay off a criminal debt. Countess Anise, the Master Exemplar, top leader of the organization, has picked up this stray to use his services on dangerous missions. I love this guy, never letting anything get his spirit down. His banter when we're hunting down Minister Cordicus is great, keeping strictly to Anise's orders but never losing focus on whatever gets him done with the task the fastest.
Countess Anise is very concerned about Cordicus's well-being. I'm to return him home, unless the innocent until proven guilty minister does something to change those plans.
She must be very hopeful your plans change.
I was instructed to be tight-lipped about it, but I will say this. Yes, I was given specific orders on how this was supposed to be executed, and I don't need you to defile it with your inclination to blindly smite. Minister Cordicus, you have obviously... Oh, he's not here. Retlock, smite away.
There's even a happy ending to his story, as Anise finally releases him.
Consider yourself a free Sylvari.
How's it feel?
It feels good.
And so he wanders out of this top 10 and probably into another one or two in the future. So while he's a temporary conscript to the Shining Blade, he still lands on number 9. 8. Number 8 is the Shining Blade Paratrooper, who comes all the way down into a cave to inform you of Canach's arrival in Bloodstone Fen. We don't get to interact with her much, but look at this glider! It's made in the classic motif of the Shining Blade, which is an absolutely metric ton of swords in all kinds of different sizes, while wrapped in chains. It looks heavy and the cloth seems tattered, so I'm not actually sure how it works. But while it's impractical, it's certainly impressive. And she did take the time to come all the way down in these caverns in the middle of Bloodstone Explosion just to talk to us and deliver some news. That screams badass. So while she's a bit too solo for the top spot, the design looks cool enough to place this Shining Blade Paratrooper on number 8. 7. Number 7 is the ghost of Les Longbow in Brisbane Wildlands. This guy is trying to live up to his duty to the Shining Blade, even decades after his death. This entire area is a reference, or continuance I guess, of a story told in the original Guild Wars, where this area had a hidden portal to an abandoned druid henge. The Shining Blade and White Mantle both wished access to this henge as a hidden base to strike at the other faction from. It seems the entire thing went up in smoke as Les asks for your help stopping a White Mantle demagogue from finishing his ritual to corrupt the glade. Les also seems to be very aware of the situation, having come to terms with his circumstances, unlike some of the other ghosts around. An honorable mention here goes to the Shining Blade recruit who, if you talk to him, states, "I will die before I let the White Mantle hold sway over my homeland." To which your only response is, about that, never mind. When you've done a jumping puzzle and fought a boss to help Les, he uses some sort of magic to reveal a chest atop the nearby mushrooms. I mean, I'd much prefer if he just made it appear next to me, but what can you do? As a side note, the name Les Longbow is a nod to the world designer and story creator Jess LeBeau, who worked on the original Guild Wars as well as the first expansion factions. So with unwavering loyalty, even in death, Les Longbow has too big of a posse to claim first place, but ends up as number 7. 6. Number 6 is the Shining Blade Exemplar named Salia. Now Salia is part of the dynamic duo Salia and Mehid, two Shining Blade Exemplars who show up in your personal story. That is if you are specifically a human with the lost parents background. Here, they defend you as you are attacked by White Mantle assassins and join you on a long quest to seek out your parents. Honestly, I had to make a new character as none of my previous characters had that specific background, but I loved the banter between these two characters so much that I'm considering trying out a new video format of a character journey, making a summarized video of this new character's story from this early meeting till gaining the legendary weapon, the Shining Blade. Catching all the shenanigans that you can get up to canonically with this faction. So leave a comment if that's an interesting idea and slay the subscribe button like a White Mantle leader to make sure you don't miss it. Anyhow, Salia is the one on this list because, unlike Mehid, she's actually skeptical of you as the commander when you're about to be sworn in as an outsider to the Shining Blade. As Mehid asks the guarded exemplars if anyone has any objections, she interjects.
I will. I point out that she has not come up through the ranks. We have only hearsay upon which to base our judgment.
Hear me. I vouch, personally, for her honor and sincerity. I have watched her for many years.
You've... what?
I've seen her do great deeds, and I know the many sacrifices she's made to defend Tyria. I have witnessed her integrity. At a time when elder dragons endanger the whole world, Kryta must make uncommon allies. I trust this defender of Tyria.
Drastic times do call for drastic measures. I withdraw my objection.
She's headstrong, states her objections, but bows to logical reasoning and good arguments. She has the same willpower as the ones in first place and lands solidly on number 6. 5. Number 5 is another ghost, Alari Doubleblade. Her sprite is just super cool looking with the black and blue aura, very different from the ghosts at Aurora Glades we spoke of in number 7. And this choice of blue and black stands out in perfect contrast to the white and red of the bloodstone-crazed White Mantle in the area. She also really shows the pure devotion and adaptability of the Shining Blade members. When we meet her, she doesn't know what happened to her but assumes that she's the only survivor of a White Mantle ambush. Of course, we agree to help her take revenge and go cut a bloody swath through the local White Mantle population. As we fight, she begins to put everything together and at the end asks us,
It's been bothering me. These White Mantle are not the White Mantle I know. The jungle, too, has changed. Tell me the truth. I died in that ambush, didn't I? The Bloodstone magic brought me back.
And this gets interactive, as writing /yes in the chat will make her say another voice line and give you the achievement Grief Counseling.
My personal victory.
But at least I got the chance to take my revenge. Thank you for that.
She might even be more level-headed than the ones at the top spot, but despite her dope visual, she ends up as number 5. 4. Number 4 is another one of Countess Anise's strays. This one is Lady Valette or Valette The Traitor. A renowned violinist who has played for Queen Jenna several times, she is also a powerful mesmer. Like most of the human nobility. Honestly, besides Logan, who isn't a powerful mesmer in Divinity's Reach. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised by a plot twist that all the people in the city are illusions created by some mesmer or other. The power struggle surely being who can summon the most phantasms to farm and fight. But that's way outside the scope of this video, and Valette isn't here because she's a mesmer, she is here because of the great execution of her villain to hero arc. Anise to Minister Cordicus' late wife, she was fiercely loyal to him and followed his White Mantle plans. That is, up until we confront him alongside her childhood friend, Demi Beetlestone, the daughter of Cordicus. During our fight, Cordicus admits to having Demi's mother killed and fatally wounds her. This makes Valette see the error of her ways, and she switches sides, aiding us in tracking down Cordicus. After being talked down from killing her, Anise takes her under her wing, and thus Lady Valette V gains the moniker Valette The Traitor, working to make Kryta a better place. She's higher born than the first place Shining Blade, but I am a sucker for stories like hers. Misplaced loyalty, washed away by the pain of seeing a childhood friend die from your choices. It's perfect, and I hope we get to see more of her in the future. 3. Number 3 is the current Master Exemplar of the Shining Blade, Countess Anise. The most cold-blooded, manipulative, and efficient character in Guild Wars 2. And yes, I am counting Joko, Jormak, and Queen Jenna herself in that. Seems there's a theme with the names of manipulative people. Maybe Anise is a cover name? Anyhow, we've already covered 2 of Anise's forced recruits in Canach and Valette The Traitor. But Canach allows us to see beneath the mask, both in the fact that Countess Anise might not be as young as she pretends to be, and that she has a very loose definition of ethics. Just listen to this exchange between her and Canach.
I have a thick skin. I also learned from my missteps. For example, you fooled me once with your illusions. So now I wonder if you're truly as young as
Do not finish that sentence. Not here. Not ever.
At last, a substantial response.
Yes, well, you would be wise to remember your place and check that tongue of yours.
When will you tell me why you've brought me here?
I'm trying to decide if I can trust you out in the field. I mean, after that nasty business on South Sun.
Regardless of what you may believe, I was trying to free those refugees from the Consortium's exploitation. I went about it poorly, criminally, and I answered for my crimes.
Your intentions in that affair, whether noble or not, aren't what concern me. It's your failure to evade capture.
I beg your pardon.
Noble intentions don't interest me. What I need is a sharp instrument. A knife that can be employed before anyone realizes it's struck.
Show me where to cut, Countess, and I will be your blade.
And when further confronted with whether she is having trouble with Canach, she tells us that she has far more painful threats to hang over his head than the edge of our weapons. Though tough on her enemies, she is also ruthlessly willing to take unorthodox steps to ensure her mission, such as when she stands up for us, the commander, when Salia questions our place in the Shining Blade. It's a greatly fleshed out fantasy of the master of a shadowy organization. When you take the stereotypes of the CIA, KGB and MI6 and roll them into one character, Countess Anise is what you get. And she might have learned how to keep young from her predecessor, as we will momentarily discuss. For now, Countess Anise is too obvious a pick to make the first place, but still deserves a spot as number 3. 2. Number 2 is a previous master exemplar of the Shining Blade, Livia. I was actually wondering if I should leave her out of this list entirely, as she might just leave the realm of reasonable character and enter the lands of power fantasy. She is in many ways like Countess Anise, if Countess Anise was the player character instead of a powerful NPC. But her being a necromancer instead of a mesmer made me want to leave her in. It feels good to talk about a powerful Crichton who isn't just another mesmer. Therefore, we first meet Livia in disguise as Exemplar Salia. She is looking for the aspects of the last Mossad Lazarus, whom she wants to resurrect so she can murder him for real. She has hunted Mossad since Guild Wars 1, where she appeared as a royalist who sought out the Scepter of Awe, a powerful necromantic artifact which she used to gain eternal, or well, at least greatly prolonged life. She then expelled the White Mantle using the energies of a dead seer and became the second Grand Master of the Shining Blade. After this, she created the Oath of Confidence, which is what we were beginning to swear in the Salia and Mehit section, which kills anyone who breaks it. Now, in Guild Wars 2, she succeeds in resurrecting and then for real killing Lazarus, the last Mossad. Hearing all of this overpowered stuff makes me think she's playing at a D&D table with an overly generous DM. In Secrets of the Obscure, we even find her hanging out with the Wizards, a secret organization led by a living seer. Livia reveals that she has the title of Wayfinder, the same title the player has, by the way, and that she had this seer's help in finding the Scepter of Awe all those years ago. She is overpowered to the point of being some sort of Mary Sue, only tempered by the fact that we find her trapped in some White Mantle device when we first meet, which at least makes her fallible. She's literally on the opposite end of the power spectrum as the first place, but I feel like she would find and murder me if I didn't put her as number 2. 1. At the top of this list are Shining Blade Kimber and her husband Benk. You meet Kimber in the Harathi Hinterlands. Her husband has gone missing and she is dead set on charging into the cave of a champion giant to find him and get him back. As game recognizes game, you help her defeat the giant and move further in. Here you find Benk, who it turns out is no pushover either. He was on a secret mission for Queen Jenna to find the secret back door into the local centaur capital. One would think he'd be able to tell his wife, since she's also a member of the Shining Blade, but those spy bodyguard types do take their secrecy very seriously. Just remember what happens if they break their oath of confidence. Going along with the quest chain, you do find the secret back door and take out 3 centaur leaders in a war council, before Benk and Kimber return to hold the door as long as they can. These are in the top because while they seem to have no world-changing special powers like Countess Anise or Livia, they are still out here kicking ass and being the biggest power couple in Kryta. Here's to the everyday heroes, making Tyria a safer place for all of us. That's why Kimber and Benk are number 1. But there are so many wonderful, secret or difficult to get to places in Guild Wars 2, so I'm always left to wonder, what details did I miss? Maybe I'll be able to answer that next time.